Hello and welcome. We're happy to have so many of you joining us today for our session to help you engage teachers and students with Access World News Research Collection. It is quarter after, so let's get started. My name is Catherine Bergerson. I am the Assistant Vice President of Marketing here at NewsBank, and today I'll be joined by two of my colleagues, Matt Stawicki and Deborah Scott. Also, you may hear us reach out to our colleague, Parker Pogue. Parker is working behind the scenes today to help with things, and if there are any technical issues, he's here to jump in. So as we get started, I want to just let you know that this session is being recorded. We will send out a copy of the presentation after today's event, and all of our contact information, the resources that we share with you today are all available in the handout section. If you just look for the gray bar handout section, you can download those at any time. Right now is the perfect time to take a look at how you're leveraging Access World News. As we know, in today's digital world, resources and online access to those resources has never been more critical. And with NewsBank, you're bringing the most credible and comprehensive content available to your teachers, your students, and your districts, whether they're utilized in person or remotely, or a combination of both. In the next 30 to 45 minutes, it's our goal to share with you a review of how Access World News Research Collection can meet the diverse curriculum needs of your school community. We'll give you a preview of our Resource Center for Schools, share best practices to engage teachers and students across a variety of curricular areas, and we'll give examples from fellow schools and show how they're promoting the resource. We'll talk about the many ways that we're here to support you, and we do have time for questions. So please submit them in the gray bar question box at any time. We'll pause throughout the presentation and do our best to get to all of them. So if that sounds good to everyone, let's dive in. I'd like to start with a quick poll to find out a bit more about the group that's here today. If you could please share with us the role that most closely describes your role at your school or district. Perhaps an administrative position, a curriculum director, librarian, teacher and librarian, teacher, or if it's something else, feel free to add it into the comment box. We'll give you just a moment to get those answers in. Okay, let's close the poll. And we can see that we have a large representation of librarians and teachers and librarians. It's great. Well, thank you so much for being here. Now that we know more about our guests, I'd like to share a bit of brief background on NewsBank. We are a leading information provider to research institutions and libraries, and we're proud to share with you that we recently celebrated our 49th anniversary. We aggregate sources from around the world, bringing you, your students, your teachers, and parents credible, vetted, global news sources, many of which are unique to NewsBank and all that are accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Thank you for investing in this incredible content. Now, let's take a walk through Access World News Research Collection. I'd like to turn it over to Matt Stawicki. He's our sales director for K-12 schools and community colleges. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for joining us today. What I'd like to review with you today is, of course, number one, how news is used in schools today. As you can see from this slide, we can support every subject area out there, every topic that schools are looking to get information on. You can get that information from Access World News. This resource, it has over 12,750 different sources from over 200 countries around the world. So it is truly a global resource. The information is available in 15 different languages, and those languages are coming from the native papers themselves. They're not translated. We have multiple formats available. It's not just newspapers, it's web-only content. It's ASCII format. We have almost 225 image edition newspapers available. There's video, audio, transcripts, and more. Again, as you can see from this slide, all subjects and virtually any topic can be found. You can find information on. The data itself ranges from roughly 1980 to present, and there's just millions of documents available. With that, what I'd like to do is let's get started and get a look at Access World News. So what we're looking at here is the landing page for Access World News. As you can see, we've got a Google-like search bar. Very simple. You can just put in a term, hit search, and the system will go out and search those millions of documents to bring back a set of results that's going to match that keyword search you use. In this case, I've got over 15 million results. From here, I can filter my information. The information is returned newest first, and you'll see here, this is from one of our magazines. So we've actually got data from June 30th, well ahead of it actually going to print. I can sort my data by best match or oldest as well. I can filter my data to get to the content I'm looking for by date. Here we've got a date slider. So I can go by decade, and when I hit apply, it would apply the filter down to those dates. I can actually enter a specific date, a day, a set of months, a set of years, the past 6 months, and so on. So I can use my own criteria on dates. I also have the year here where it's telling me the number of results I've got by year, so I can go to that specific year. As I mentioned, we've got all different source types. So available, audio, professional blogs, college and university newspapers, journals, magazines, newsletters, newspapers, newswires, transcripts, videos, and web-only content. Click on any one of these and it would filter down to just that one specific source type. I can go to a specific source name. So if I'm looking for a specific title, I can look for just that one title. And as I mentioned, we're from over 200 countries around the world, so I can go to a specific location. You'll note that all the sources and all these filters have that More Options tab. When I click on that button, that will open up this box, and in this case, because we are from over 200 countries, I can filter my data by continent, country, region, state, province, and city. So quick example is if I wanted to go to a specific state that I'm located in, I could filter down, click on that state, hit apply, and now I filtered my data just to that one state. So I'm getting information, in this case on COVID, from Florida only. As you'll see here, I can now filter down even further to a specific city. You can actually apply a Lexile reading level. So if this was for a class of 9th graders, I can simply click on that Lexile, and now I've got multiple filters applied to my results set, and I'm down to just 6,000 results in Florida for just 9th grade reading level. We can also filter by language, and I will come back to that momentarily, and presidential era. Once you filter your data, you can then do an article preview. So you can look and begin reading the article from the beginning. If it's what you want, you can simply click View Document. Otherwise, close that and go to the next. Preview, if that's the one I want, I can click on View Document. That will open up my document. As you can see, it's nice, clean, easy to read. My search term is highlighted, and I've got a set of tools at the top for the user. You can increase the text size, create the citation. And if you're using EasyBib, RefWorks, or Noodle tools, you can export the citation to any one of those bibliography tools, so it's used there. Here's an example of the ML8 citation, which I can then highlight, copy, and paste it. You can email the information, who you want to send it to, from me, a random message, and hit send. The system itself is mobile friendly, so regardless of whether they receive this email on a phone, a tablet, a PC, it will resize itself and be nice and easy to read just like it is here. You can print the information and include the citation. You can download the information to a PDF or out to your Google Drive. You can create a folder to save the information on NewsBank. And here is the actual Doro link to this specific article. So you can copy this link, paste it and email it to a teacher, send it to a student, put it up on a whiteboard, put it into a lesson plan. It will always open up to this specific article. And then most recently, we just added this new button that allows you to actually put this document into an assignment within Google Classroom. Last but not least, for all the full text articles found within this database, you've got a read along. It will highlight the information and read it right along with the article. I'll go back to my results set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear these filters so I can give you an idea of the different languages that are available. Again, the system comes in multiple languages. So as you can see here, we've got 15 different languages available. The bulk of the information is in English, but the next two largest sets of content that we've got would be in French and in Spanish. So this resource, not only every subject area, but it will also support heavily the languages as well. I'll go back to NewsBank, and that kind of gives you a good idea on how the keyword searching works. Are there any questions on that?
Thank you, Matt. There are no questions yet, but it's a great reminder to people to please enter them at any time, and we will continue to take them. Thanks.
Great. Second way I'll show you to get to information is with our suggested topics. As you'll note, these suggested topics cover all the different subject areas that are studied within schools, including some of the newest things like diversity, equity, inclusion, social, emotional learning. If I click on the diversity, equity, inclusion, you'll note I've got a whole batch of subtopics that open up. From there, I can simply click on a topic that I want to do research on, and it will run an editorially created search that's going to bring me to a great set of results right out of the chute. You'll see I'm down to just 3,500 results. This search string that was created by our editorial team can be modified, so I could change the number of words, search instead of just in headline, I could search in full text, so it's totally editable. And then you've also got the entire same set of filters down the side, which would allow you to further filter the area by date, location, and so on. If I go back and show you another illustration, go into science, for example, you'll see they all work exactly the same. Okay, I'm just going to click on phototropism just to show you another search or another form that we have available. As I mentioned, we have image editions available. So here is an image edition, and you can tell the difference from that search panel. But you'll note here, with the image editions of the current newspapers, they're in full 100% color, and you can actually clip articles right out of the page. So that's really usable. Should one of your students, maybe administrator or your school be mentioned in a newspaper, you could clip that article out and share it with everybody. Additionally, if I go back to that search topic of science, if you're looking for a topic, for example, in science, and you don't find it, if you let us know what that specific topic is, that one thing, we'll get that into the hands of our editorial team. They'll create the search term and add it to the suggested topics. The idea is if it's something you're looking for, someone else is probably looking for it as well. So it's a way we can help our customers and our prospects just continue to use this system. That's really how easy the search topics can be used. Any questions on that?
We do have one question, Matt. How often are the suggested topics updated?
Okay, so as a general rule, we'll update those suggested topics whenever we get a suggestion from a customer. So that could be 3 of them this week, for example. Usually it takes a day or 2 to get them added. Other than that, our editorial team reviews this information on a regular basis on what actually schools are searching. And when we see something really continuing to come to the top of the surface, we'll actually create that search topic at that time. So it's really based on demand by our users.
Wonderful, thank you. And remind us how to let NewsBank know if they have a suggestion.
Yes, if you've got a suggestion, you're looking for a topic that maybe belongs in business and economics, you can click the share feedback button and give us the information that way, or reach out to your account executive, your customer service rep, maybe your sales enablement rep that you might have been speaking with. Send them an email, and they'll get that to our editorial team to get added. If we have questions about maybe that we need to clarify something, we'll reach back out to you.
Great, thank you. And one more question. Is it possible to filter out things like letters to the editor if mainly you want students to find fact versus opinion and things like that?
The letter to the editor is not something that can be filtered on that specific line item. But having said that, in most cases, the letter to the editor, they're not quite at a higher lexile than most. So if you're dealing in high schools, if you apply a 9th through 12th grade lexile, 9 out of 10 times that gets rid of the letter to the editor.
That's a great tip. Okay, thank you very much.
All righty, great. My pleasure. Additionally, there is one other thing I wanted to tell you about. With these suggested topics, we actually have PDFs available for all of these suggested topics that can be shared with teachers. And these PDFs are hyperlinked. So when they click on the PDF on a specific search topic, it would actually run that search and bring them right to that, that result set. So it's a great thing to share with your teachers. Okay. Last couple of things I'd like to share with you. Heavily used in schools are our hot topics. This is really great for current events. What the hot topics does is it highlights all the major issues, things that are happening out there in the world today. These are updated every 30 days. So this is the April 21 version. So this is really highlighting the information that occurred in March, okay? You'll note we've got all the different ones that we've created, so that archive goes all the way back to March of 2018. They're organized by subject area, so current events, business economics, civics, government politics, social issues, science, technology, sports, arts and literature, and people. Okay, click on any one of them, and they'll highlight the big things that are occurring in the world today. So, the Derek Chauvin trial, for example, COVID, rollout, the Olympic Games. Okay, you'll note each one of them gives a short explanation of what it is, but there's also questions included in here, again, to help promote those information literacy skills and look for further things. Additionally, if you're looking for a hot topic and it's something we should include, you could email us that information and we'll look into trying to create that as well. With all our hot topics, you'll note we've got a search this topic option. That would allow you to run that search and get more information, in this case, around the trial that's going on right now. So hot topics, another great thing to help support the current events and things that are going on. Okay. The other big one that's heavily used in schools is our daily headlines and lesson plans. Every day, we pull up 10 headlines that are being pulled from all the information we're getting from the over 14,000 resources. You'll see USA Today. They're truly being pulled from the world, from Arlington, Virginia, the Washington Times, okay? Arlington, Virginia, again, the Associated Press, and even one here from Agency France. The neat part about this is every day we create a lesson plan around one of these articles. So if I click on this article about Kerry visiting Shanghai, you'll see here's my article with all the same tools across the top, including a search to get more information. But here is a lesson plan. When I click on that, this is going to give us a lesson plan around the special presidential envoy. Our subject, topical curricular areas, I can go back to the original article. The general educational standards. That's followed by the lesson plan. 4 sets of questions posed to the students that's going to check on the comprehension of reading that initial article, but it's also going to pose questions to them to do additional research to answer the rest of the questions. Again, the search to get more information, additional resources, including additional websites that are vetted to make sure they are safe, and then presentation and assessment options. Many of our users, our customers, will use the entire lesson plan. Some will just take one set of questions and use that to enhance something that was just taught in the classroom and do it as a homework assignment. Again, you've got rights to them and you can download them, share them, and so on, okay? The very cool part about this is we do a lesson plan every day. So by clicking on the View All Lesson Plans, that's going to open up and you'll see here I've got almost 5,000 lesson plans, 4,984 lesson plans. So you've got lesson plans on virtually anything. Example, maybe your finance teacher, your economics is looking for how to teach something on financial literacy. My science teacher looking for some help on DNA. Maybe looking for something on the coronavirus. Or big in schools today, of course, is diversity. So I can start typing diversity and you'll see I'm going to get lesson plans on understanding diversity. So with almost 5,000 lesson plans available, you can find a lesson plan on virtually anything. That gives you a good rundown on what we have available in the Access World News resource. Are there any additional questions I can answer right now?
We do have one question about the lesson plans. Is it possible to make suggestions or requests for lesson plans?
Yes, it is. Matter of fact, if you're looking for a specific lesson plan, again, if you get that information to us via email or the share feedback button, we'll look into creating a lesson plan for that. We just recently created a batch of lesson plans around the social emotional learning area at the request of one of our customers.
Wonderful, thank you. In the interest of time, we are going to move on, but if there are other questions that come up, we will pause again in a few more moments to get to more questions. But now I'd like to introduce Deborah Scott. She's NewsBank's customer engagement representative, and she's going to give us some tips and tools to support the curriculum needs of your school and share some examples of how other schools are using the resource. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Catherine, and hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in as we navigate the ever-changing landscape of reaching out to faculty and students to support classroom needs and promote information literacy. To that end, I would like to share some ideas about how schools can get the most value out of Access World News. As part of the NewsBank customer engagement team, I have assisted school libraries around the country and around the world with suggestions to promote database resources to students and faculty on library websites, in orientations, in school newsletters, and in learning management systems. Let's start by going to NewsBank's Marketing and Resource Center. You can easily go to NewsBank's website at www.newsbank.com and select the Marketing and Resource Center for K-12 schools under Support. Here you can click either on the green Getting Started button you see in the middle of the screen, where you can download and print out our best practices for setting up your resources, or you can go directly to the resources to which your library subscribes. As you can see, there are many databases which can support the classroom needs of students from elementary through high school with current and historical news information. Now let's click on Access World News, where our first step is to create visibility on your library's website and help build awareness of NewsBank's resources for your students and teachers. Here we have graphics and descriptions available for you to post on your library's homepage, on your resources page, or in guides created for specific teachers or projects. The next section contains guides, search tips, and how-to videos about using your NewsBank resources. You can post these on your website and in newsletters, send to teachers, or use in orientations with students. Some of our schools will add graphics, videos, or a guide to their weekly email or announcements to faculty, highlighting a resource of the month. Also in the Resource Center, you will find helpful flyers for suggested topics, which, as Matt showed you, is a great place for students, teachers, and parents to find relevant and credible information in just 2 clicks. There are also ready-to-use social media posts updated monthly by our ever-creative marketing team to use as another method to increase visibility of your library resources. Plus, coming soon, new creative ideas for using your resources with the summer reading program, including, and you heard it here first, a brand new scavenger hunt. Speaking of scavenger hunts, another promotional item in the Resource Center is the Access World News Scavenger Hunt. It is particularly popular as it is a fun, educational way to get students and teachers into your resource while reinforcing how to use Access World News. NewsBank also provides a series of short tutorial videos on how to use your resources. They cover topics such as how to use Access World News, how to cite an article, or how to use suggested topics. And these are great to use in an introduction to your resources. These tutorial videos are each less than 2 minutes long and can be embedded right on your website for easy access. The tutorials are also great for parents, as we know how important the parent's role is as a partner in their child's education. We would now like to show you how easy and helpful these videos are. Please turn up your audio. While some of our tutorials are narrated, this particular video has a musical background. Many more short videos like this are available in the K-12 Resource Center. You can also go to the on-demand webinar section in the next few days where today's webinar will be available. Next, we have a few examples of how some schools around the world are showcasing their NewsBank resources as collected from interactions with our customer engagement team. A big thank you to all the schools who allowed us to share their library web pages as examples of best practices. First, we have the library reference sources page from Grosse Pointe Public School System in Michigan. They subscribe to 2 resources from NewsBank, Access World News and America's Historical Newspapers. They have placed both resources separately on this page with colorful graphics. This is important because different resources are used for different projects, and this allows students to go directly into the resource that fits their needs. Next, Avon Old Farm School in Connecticut posted our colorful graphic for Access World News and also posted our suggested resource description. Including our description helps both students and teachers know that Access World News is a vast, multidisciplinary resource and a great supplement for all subjects. They also posted additional links to our video tutorial and to the Access World News Maps search. Customer engagement can help you customize your resource placement and visibility for optimal use. One way to do that is to customize your Access World News landing page with quick links to local, national, and global titles to fit your school community needs. As you see here, other groups of sources can include college and university newspapers, Spanish language news sources, or state and regional news sources. Just reach out to customer engagement to discuss the quick links you'd like, and we will set them up for you. Our next example from Menlo School in California utilizes LibGuides on their public-facing library page. They list their 2 NewsBank resources, Access World News and America's Historical Newspapers, separately so students can quickly access the information they need. Last, but certainly not least, St. Francis School District in Wisconsin shows another example of posting the graphic and description for Access World News, along with listing all the different source types included in the resource on their public-facing library page. St. Francis High School has also posted Access World News on the Resources tab in their learning management system, Schoology. We've learned from many schools that posting the resource link, graphic, and description in multiple places on your library website and within your learning management system helps promote student and teacher engagement. Ideally, we want Access World News to be where the students, teachers, and parents go for information. When schools moved to remote learning, the focus in many school districts turned to learning management systems as a way for teachers to connect and interact with their students. NewsBank supports this move and can integrate with several discovery services and learning management systems. Integrating Access World News with your LMS allows for easier collaboration with teachers and more interaction with students. Our integrations feature single sign-on, embedding in class pages, and the ability to easily add articles, curated lists of sources, results lists, or Access World News to a class, module, or assignment. The how-to guides and short videos shown here can be placed in the teacher resource area of the LMS and on your library page to encourage collaboration. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope this sparked some ideas for ways News and NewsBank can be used with your teachers and students. Our customer engagement team will help you with creating visibility and marketing the Access World News resource so that you can get the best possible value. We can provide professional development and individualized trainings for you and your teachers. Now is the time to think about scheduling those sessions for summer or fall. We are also well-versed in several discovery and learning management systems and can help navigate setup. Placement of Access World News in your school's LMS can bring your resources even closer to teachers and students. The NewsBank customer engagement team is here to help support your school and library needs. Now I will turn it back to Catherine for any incoming questions.
Thanks, Deborah. We do have a few questions about the Black Life in America collection. How do I access that?
Information about supporting the Black Life in America collection is on the Resource Center page, and our website has more information about the product. If you're not a subscriber, if you'd like to add that to your collection, just reach out to your account representative or the send feedback button with that, we can direct you to the right person.
Excellent. And if you want to just add your email address into the question or chat box, we will reach out to you directly. All right. And we do have another question. I believe this one is for Matt. If you could show us the historical timeline and briefly how it works.
That'd be great. I'd be happy to. If I can, Parker, let me share my screen. Great. Okay. Everybody sees my screen okay, I hope?
Yes, thank you.
All right. I'll scroll down, and here we've got a quick link to historical timeline. So I will click that, and that will open up the historical timeline. As you can see here, it highlights every major era in U.S. history from 1690 all the way through to 2000. There's approximately 448 different historical newspapers in this collection. Each of these eras in history, when you click on it, will highlight the events that occurred during that specific era. So you've got government, military, political things, social, cultural issues, discoveries, inventions, and firsts. So it will support not just U.S. history and state history, but you'll find things in here about science, the great influenza, for example, here. You'll find things in here that support the arts. You'll find things in here that will support all sorts of good stuff, okay? Click on any one of these. So example is, let's just look at Woodrow Wilson's 14 points. And what that will do is that'll load that event, give us a secondary source. So this is a summary of this event written by our editorial team. That is followed by primary sources. So these are all sources that were pulled from newspapers of the day, explaining exactly what that event was, what that firsthand opinion was. And then we also have suggested searches in case you did not find what you were looking for. So example is if I click on Wilson's speech of July 4th, that will open up that specific document. So it shows me that document directly, in this case, from the Wilkes-Barre Times Leader, July 5, 1918. So this is exactly the way it was published in the newspaper that day. Again, you've got tools across the top for the user. And as you can see by these thumbnails, the entire newspaper of that day has been loaded. So if I wanted to look at page 1 of that newspaper, I could simply click, and you'll note that that's going to load page 1 of that newspaper. So you can see exactly what the newspaper looked like the day it was delivered in 1918. Okay. All of the entries on the timeline are organized exactly the same. So you'll see I clicked on World War II. They're all identical. Here's an example of Grapes of Wrath, so I can get literary criticism on that. Additionally, if there's something on the timeline that you're looking for and you did not find it, again, if you let us know what that is, we can get that into the hands of our editorial team. They'll look at adding it for you. It's a little more complicated than the suggested searches, so it takes 3 weeks to a month to do, but we're happy to do that because, again, if it's something you're looking for, someone else is probably looking for it. An example of that, last year, a user came to us and was doing a project on women in the military during World War II. So this entry on the timeline was created for them, and it has the exact same setup. The secondary source, that summary, the primary sources, and the additional searches. That kind of gives you a real good, quick rundown of the way the timeline in the historical newspapers works.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you to you too, Deborah, and to all of our guests today who had so many great questions. We certainly appreciate that. And as we wrap up here today, I do want to build upon what Matt and Deborah said about NewsBank's customer service and support. It is truly unparalleled. Today's presentation is just one of the many ways that we are here to work with you. We want to continue our partnership and our connections to help you really maximize your NewsBank resources. As Deborah mentioned, we invite you, others from your institution, your library, for a customized complimentary in-service training. We will happily schedule a time for you, perhaps over the summer or on a professional development day in the fall. You let us know what's convenient for your team. Also, if you experience any technical issues or have any questions, NewsBank's customer service team is here and ready to assist. We have these helpful resources you can see on the screen for you to start using right away, and they're all linked. So if you download this presentation, you can link right into to get to exactly where you want to go within the website or with your contact information. I invite you to bookmark NewsBank's Resource Center and web pages and our video tutorial pages and check back regularly. We do update our how-to videos and our collections on a frequent basis. Keep an eye on your inbox each month for our Hot Topics email. These are perfect to pull a bit of information out to use in your email to your community or on your social media, however you connect with your school community. If you don't receive the Hot Topics email, just enter your email right now in the chat box and we'll make sure to get you on the list. We also have ready-to-use social media posts. You can download them right now. They're in the handout section, and there are several you can start using today. All of this information, the presentation, the slides, and the links, again, are in the handout section in that gray toolbar. If you have any trouble accessing it, just let me know, and I'll be happy to send it over to you. We are grateful for all of the questions today. If you think of something after the webinar, send us an email or give us a call. We're happy to help. We hope you found this training session valuable and that you have some actionable ways to reach out to teachers and students right away. As you log out today, you'll see a brief survey. Please do take a moment to know what you thought about today's presentation and how we can improve our sessions in the future. On behalf of the entire NewsBank team, thank you for sharing part of your day with us. Have a good afternoon. Goodbye.